Yeah, hi all of you, good afternoon. It's hot and humid now. So we covered a couple of things yesterday. One is some idea about who are the hominoids, what are hominids, what are hominins, what are great apes, lesser apes, and some of you are asking me. By the way, for all of you, this is my phone number. All the new ones. Any issues you have, you can reach out directly to me. I'll prefer you message on WhatsApp rather than calling me because that saves time and it gives me some time to respond when I'm comfortable. Okay? So that's my phone number. And some of you were asking me about sir, apes kya hai? How are they different from monkeys? What is the difference between lesser apes and the greater apes? See, it's all about, 4-5 things. Their size, their brain size, how they organize themselves, the development of communications. So, monkeys are the most primitive ones. Monkeys walk on 4 legs, they have tails. Monkeys' brain size are smaller. Apes, they are larger generally. They don't have tails, they are more muscular. Most apes they can walk on 2 legs for some time. Okay, when I come to hominins, more or less they are on 2 legs. ये कुछ differences हैं. It's about the size, the brain capacity, and the greater apes, they have a more sophisticated way of communication. They live in groups, they communicate. Some of them are known to use some primitive tools also. I remember seeing one video where orangutan was using some kind of a thin twig or stick, put it inside an ant hill. The ants walk on it, he takes it out and he eats the ants. एक और वीडियो था on gibbons में. The gibbon is using a stone to break some nuts. Okay, so it's all about the capacity of critical thinking, tool using. Escape beyond its hardcore biology, anthropology, I can't deal with it. And you are curious, you can have a look. And not a bad idea to know because orangutan पे questions आए हैं GS में. Gibbon पे आया हुआ है, one of the endangered species. The one in India is called as the Hollock gibbon, found in northeastern parts and Southeast Asia. Okay. So curiosity है देख लो, it's not something I can teach you in these sessions. You have seen that, okay? Better IQ, yes, IQ नहीं बोलेंगे, वो memory वाला है. Okay, yes, some animals have better memory than humans. Okay, so dogs can also remember. The elephants have a good memory. IQ is something, okay, not just memory. Okay, so ठीक है. So look that up, your curiosity, and details about them you don't need. What we need is the locations where evolution happened. Okay, how they moved, what locations they moved into. Lake Victoria region, I mentioned some countries, how they have gone northward. In fact, एक map आपका इसमें माजुसैन में भी है. Okay, I can show that to you maybe. Wait. Maybe another 2-3 days from now, I'll suggest you should bring your Majid Hussain to class. Then I can discuss some passages from this. Yeah, it is here. In my book is edition 5. I use page 69 and page number 70. So if you have the new edition, It's probably page number 67 and 68 होगा शायद. You can have a look. There are two maps. I'll just show those to you. You have a sense of what we need for our examination. Yeah, that's your page. Okay, so you don't have to draw this. I drew some bit of it yesterday just to appreciate what we must know. Okay, so this is where it all started, kinds. It says 1.6 million years approximately. Okay, and from here, some move north, one moves on this side. No, this is 1.6 lakh, not million years. Moves here. This branch is the Neanderthal man. Okay, and then some have moved here, moved towards India. ये 1 lakh year है. Okay, I mentioned here around 70,000-80,000, and then they move towards Australia and parts of the Southwest Pacific. Lot of islands are here. You'll have these kind of populations which have Negrito origins from Africa. Okay, so ये एक map है. Then the next page has some map again. Okay, how the modern man may have again. इसमें वैसे ही है. How from here it has moved northwards. Here, something on this side. It has come here. So this part, Southeast Asia, China, यहाँ से northwards जा रहे हैं. 30,000 before, 40,000 here, 60-40,000 before present here. Okay, so and this population has gone northward and across Siberia it crosses. So Siberia and Alaska was linked once upon a time. Okay, and they cross here and then they have come into parts of North America. Okay, move down towards South America, and this is as recent as 15,000 years ago. Okay, so parts of India, South Asia, they have received the populations first. Okay, 1 lakh, 80,000, 7,000. कुछ books में लिखा होगा 85,000. That's okay. Okay, so this is where we have the populations coming from Africa, and ये भी बहुत important area है. ये area called as the Caucasus. Some of you know, a couple of weeks ago, I recorded one video on why this area is one of the areas of old beginnings of human civilizations. The Caucasus. Caucasus से Caucasoid trace हैं, Caucasus से Caucasian cultures हैं, lot of Indo-Aryan origin यहाँ से होता है, यहीं पर language की beginnings हैं. Okay, ये बहुत important area है, because see, when the population starts moving northwards, ये सब dry areas हैं, this area, यहाँ पर there is mild climate, there are small rivers here, कुछ mountains के बीच में plains भी हैं. Okay, so this area had one of the earliest settlements outside Africa. In fact, you have got countries like Azerbaijan, you have Ukraine, okay, so Georgia. यहाँ पर there are some settlements that date back to the Paleolithic man also. Okay, so बहुत important area ये वाला. यहाँ से ही lot of population moves into Russia, into Europe and so on. Okay, so you can have a look. The Lost History of Man के नाम से I have recorded one video on the YouTube. Just some days ago I posted that. Okay, how they crossed the Pacific. There are a lot of theories on this. In fact, I don't know if you have read about this or not. There was an experiment. Okay, can man cross the oceans using small boats? I think it was Shabbir, I think, who did this, and he made a boat. He called it as the Kontiki. Konti, I think Kontiki or Bontiki, bhul ja rahe hain. I think Kontiki. It's a small boat like a canoe and made up of reeds. Reeds matlab grass se bana hua. And he tried crossing the oceans using that reed boat, and he did. Thus, to prove that it's possible to cross the oceans using those small boats. And a lot of populations of ये जो islands यहाँ पर हैं, these islands of Pacific, they were settled by people who came from Peru. From यहाँ पर Samoa है, यहाँ पर Easter Islands हैं, if you know about it, Solomon Islands हैं. So a lot of people from Peru, they moved on like this. They moved on this side. So he has proved this, that yes, it's possible to travel on camel. It must have taken a lot of time. Many must have died. But you know, in civilizations में कोई एक दो पागल आदमी होता ही होता है. Who says कि no, I'll take a risk. I'll do it. जैसे आपके फैमिली में आप हो, right? Others all are sane people. सेफ जॉब चाहिए, सेफ घर चाहिए. You decided no, I'm the adventurer. UPSC ट्राई करते हैं. तो वैसे हर सिविलाइजेशन में ऐसे आइटम नंबर्स होते हैं, ठीक है. I remember in my time when I was studying, preparing, my younger brother, about 3 years old, younger to me, I told him, चलो साथ पढ़ते हैं. When I was giving my attempts, he was doing his graduation. He said a very nice statement. He said, भाईजान, खानदान में एक पागल काफी है. We don't need more than that. So वैसे ही, so some of them must have been explorers who tried it and succeeded. So how did they cross? By reed boats. देख लो इसके बारे में. Very famous, experiment था ये वाला. I think Kontiki. Kontiki was the boat in which they tried to cross. And Heiderthal, I forget that name. I think it's Heiderthal, the man who did it. A Norwegian explorer tha. ठीक है? So that much is fine to start off with. Yes, I have that in mind. I know some of you have asked me that. Some of you left last part of discussions mein. I was discussing the spread of our species as a part of two theories. One is called as out of Africa hypothesis, where the assumption is that the beginnings of man in all practical sense is Africa. And from Africa, man moved out. From Africa, man travels and spreads. And iska counter theory hai called as the out of China hypothesis, where they say ki in southern part of China, wo region hai called as the Yunnan Highlands bordering Myanmar. That area probably is the home of very old settlements, and some of the Homo erectus species, they had come there, and from their evolution happened, and man spread from China. So some say this was like a two parallel evolution. कल मुझे पूछा भी था, can we have evolution at different places at same time? Yes, it's possible. It's called as the principle of homoplasy बोलते हैं. The same life form, the same species can evolve in two different locations, and they become the part of the larger population. So some say this, that Mongoloid race जो है वो अलग evolution हुआ है. While we and Mongoloids are same race, same species, but we are different race. When I say race, it's about the physical appearance, the color of skin, the height of the person, what type of muscles, bones, the type of hair. There are some measurements about the width of the head, the length of the head, the length of the nose. So ये सब measurements हैं. When I say race, I mean biological, visible differences. There's no difference in terms of the organism functioning, or in terms of the intellect, or in terms of thinking capacity. We are same species. But yes, we look different, maybe because ये evolution parallel था two different lines. One evolution happening from Africa, and one happening from China. But most theories say the out of China hypothesis does not have too much of credibility. I mean, I think kahin na kahin these things ultimately become a part of a cultural debate. Rather than looking for scientific truth, you're out there to prove your cultural superiority. ये हम अलग race हैं, we are superior, things all began from us. India में debate क्या है about Aryan and the Dravidians? Debate क्या है? Debate essentially is who came to India first and who are more developed. Okay, if the Kiladi excavation can prove that ये Aryans नहीं थे या कुछ और थे, okay, then Dravidians are happy. Oh, we are different, we are superior. Okay, if we can prove कि Aryan वाले थे, the North Indians are happy. Okay, हम ही लोग तो हैं, पूरे Indian belongs to us types. So rather than looking for scientific truth, कि actually क्या हुआ था, this is more into cultural nationalism. The Chinese can prove, no, we are the beginnings. We are the root race. It all began from us. Okay, तो उस debate में चला जाता है. Otherwise, out of Africa hypothesis is considered to be more credible. We have more evidences of that. We have got a better mapping of gene diversity, but we don't rule out of China hypothesis either. Although not many takers on this. Yes, correct. It becomes debates of ethnocentrism. Correct. There is a great difference in species and race. No. A species is a bigger group. Races are variations within the species. So, we and the Mongoloids are same species. Races are the differences based on the biological visible features. Okay, so it's not that races are different species. Okay, all fine, all of you here? So I just gave some pointers. So if you're missing the class, make sure that you look up once and update yourself. Okay, let's start off. Any doubts on this, anybody? Any doubts, any queries on this? Homoplacy, Ojasvi. The concept of homoplacy. Which means there's a possibility of a parallel evolution of the same species from two different locations. The concept of homoplacy. The concept of parallel evolution of the same species from two different locations. Okay, all done, all of you? Okay, now before we move on, some of you have been struggling and asking me, even the old students, world map हम कैसे बनाएं? I've spent some time teaching you how to draw the world map. See, our idea is we do not want an artistic drawing. Okay, we want a good representative drawing where you can quickly sketch, and exam conditions mein no diagram should take you more than 10-15 seconds. If you cross that, means then you are losing time in writing. Okay, so quick sketches, and in most cases you will not need to draw the whole world map. In fact, I discourage it. Okay, draw the part you want to show. आपको दिखाना है Africa and migrations, then just show Africa. Okay, and maybe parts of Europe here. Okay, that's all. Okay, so it began here, it goes northward like this, like that. So don't show the whole world map. आपको दिखाना है something in Southeast Asia, then you draw just the part of Southeast Asia. Okay, and if you have a bit of understanding of the world map, you know that you have captured the more important parts. That's all. Okay, so you learn this technique eventually. But for now, I'll spend some time teaching you the world map. Okay? एक बार I'm opening up the textbook. Let's study the world map for a few minutes here. Okay? So all of you watch. Okay? So this point here is the mouth of Amazon. Do you all have your atlases with you? अगर है तो निकाल लो, अगर नहीं है तो no issues. Watch the sessions on the screen. ठीक है? This is the mouth of Amazon. Okay, Amazon river कुछ ऐसे आकर ऐसे turn हो जाएगा. This is the mouth of river Amazon here, and equator is almost along this. Okay, थोड़ा सा नॉर्थ, थोड़ा सा साउथवर्ड आएगा. ओके, एंड समवेयर हियर, somewhere like this. Okay, and this is Singapore here. Okay, very near Singapore like this. Yes, this is approximately, okay, your equator like this. Okay, a bit northwards because Victoria south mein aayega, so maybe a bit northwards like this. This is your equator. Okay, and remember that Africa has a bulge on the western side here. Okay, this is a cut here, part of Mediterranean Sea. यहाँ पर लिबिया है, Gulf of Gabes, Gulf of Sitra. You have Tripoli, Benghazi. Okay, so there's one cut here, rectangular ऐसे indent है along the coast of northern Africa. Then you can see this loop here like this. Okay, this is Egypt, Sudan, Djibouti, Somalia, and this is called as the Horn of Africa. Okay, Horn of Africa. Horn of Africa has parts Ethiopia, your Somalia, Djibouti is a very important country here. Okay, so ये Horn of Africa यहाँ पर. Then this is like a rectangle. This is Arabian Peninsula यहाँ पर. On this side is Red Sea. This is the Persian Gulf. Okay, so a bulge like a skull. Okay, for Africa, and much of Africa is north of equator. South mein this projection here, Horn of Africa. This rectangle is Arabia. We have India. Okay, then from here Myanmar, it comes down. This stretch is like a projection. Okay, this is called as the Malay Peninsula. Malay Peninsula. And then these islands are all islands of Indonesia. This is Sumatra Island. This is the Java Island. This is a big one called as Borneo. Borneo में 3 countries हैं. Indonesia, we have Malaysia, we also have Brunei, a small kingdom, okay, called as Brunei. Okay, this is the big island Borneo. This one here is called as Sulawesi. Equator जो है ना, ये Sulawesi के through जाता है यहाँ से ऐसे. And then you have this one, okay, it's called as the New Guinea Island. It's considered as the largest island, of course, excluding Greenland. Greenland otherwise the largest one. Otherwise, this is called the largest one, which is mostly inhabited. And this is shared by 2 countries. There is Indonesia and there is Papua New Guinea. Okay, so Sumatra Island, Java Island, Borneo Island, Sulawesi Island or Celebes, New Guinea Island, and that's Australia. Okay, so equator बना दिया आपने. Okay, equator, north of equator, south of equator, and almost touching Singapore यहाँ पर है, इसी के साथ टच करके जाएगा ऐसे. Java Island is south of equator. Okay, New Guinea is south of equator. Equator cuts Sumatra Island. Equator cuts, okay, Borneo, cuts Sulawesi. Okay, then up here, this small bulge, this is Vietnam, Cambodia. ये Vietnam वाला part है. And then एक second bulge है. This is China, big bulge of China. Shanghai is somewhere here. Again, YouTube में I have shared 2 videos on China. One video is China में क्या है? Very quickly, within 10 minutes में. Beijing कहाँ है? Shandong कहाँ है? Tianjin कहाँ पर है? What is Xinjiang? What is Tibet? What is Sichuan? What is New Mongol? वो भी देख लेना. Just go and type China, my name, Edukemy and Shabbir. Okay, so this is the bulge of China. यहाँ पर Shanghai है, the biggest city, along with यहाँ पर है Beijing. So this is the bulge of Vietnam, Southeast Asia, China. फिर ये projection जो है ये Korean Peninsula है. Okay, South Korea, North Korea. Okay, this is the Yellow Sea. Okay, Korea Peninsula. Then you have this bulge here, this part of all now Siberia. Okay, and this is also Siberia यहाँ पर. Okay, this is Siberia here, and this one is called as the Kamchatka. अभी बहुत न्यूज में था. We had a very big earthquake here. Okay, the Kamchatka Peninsula, and then you have this projection ऐसे आकर. Okay, this becomes the eastern Siberia. Okay, so some sense. Okay, Africa bulge. Okay, there is a small cut in the northern Africa. Then you have this Red Sea wala coast, a Horn of Africa. You come down. So when drawing Africa, okay, you remember, ये bulge है. यहाँ bulge से it comes down straight like this. Okay, you draw this is a slant here. Okay, then you come down straight. So don't have to look at every curve. Okay, हर bend आपके लिए important नहीं है. Don't do this in your map. So इतना accuracy में मैं शर्मा जाऊंगा फिर. ठीक है? We don't need so much accuracy. The examiner will have a complex. Okay, you draw a smooth bulge like this. Come here, there's a cut here like this. Okay, smooth bend here, a smooth bend here. यहाँ से you take it down like this. Okay, maybe it's here. That's Africa. Okay, and you have जहाँ पर ये bend है, यहीं से साथ में this is island of Madagascar. ठीक है? And that's the equator. Equator, south of equator यहाँ पर है Lake Victoria, and यहाँ पर like a rectangle. Okay, like a rectangle. This is the Arabian Peninsula. बनेगा आपको all of you here? ठीक है? So Red Sea, Persian Gulf. Okay. Then you move here, Iran, Pakistan का part छोटा कर दो उसको, नहीं चाहिए पाकिस्तान. Okay, so that becomes India. India इतना बड़ा करना है कर लो. Okay, you can show China inside India also if you want to. Okay, so that's your measure of patriotism. Right? That's Southeast Asia. You come down as this is your Malay Peninsula like this. It almost touches the equator here. Okay, go up here north. There's a slight bulge here like this, and you go up north here. Okay, that is Sumatra. That is Java. Okay, you have the Borneo Island. You have Sulawesi. You have this triangle called as New Guinea Island. We don't want all accuracies here. A sense of proportion होना चाहिए. And your main reference line will be equator. बाकी सारा line बनाएंगे, it will be all over the place then. Equator में sense बन जाएगा, north कौन सा है, south कौन सा है. And when you come here, okay, you have got to remember one bulge ऐसे है, Vietnam वाला. Okay, that's your South China Sea, Gulf of Tonkin. Okay, then you have bigger bulge. Okay, bigger bulge, that's China. Okay, like this, that's Korea here. Okay, then you move northwards like this, Kamchatka. That's about it. But a sense, all of you? Okay, so if you know कि कौन सा bends कहाँ पर है, then you are on. Equator, we have Congo Basin. Oh yes, Iman, there's a lot of details here. Okay, कहाँ equator pass करता है, all of that. वो GS वाला कहानी है. But that's about it. So I start from Africa. So start with draw this equator. So you have the bulge here. You have this. Come here, come down, straight like this, like a rectangle. That's India. That's Malay Peninsula. One bulge. The second one, Korea, like this, Kamchatka, Sumatra, this, you can skip Sulawesi if you want to. And iske south mein you have, I'll talk about Australia. अब इसको देख के कोई बोलेगा नहीं कि आप वर्ल्ड मैप है नहीं. Okay, लिखने में वर्ल्ड मैप लग रहा है, you got the more countries that you needed. अफ्रीका को ना ये मत कर देना. My mistake is we do this. Okay, Africa, okay, is slightly like this. This will give you a shape of Africa. It's not exactly pointed here. Okay, and small cut here, and this gives you Madagascar. Make sense, all of you? Okay, fine. Okay. So, how do I do it? Give me some advantage of my gray hair, yeah? Okay. आपको लग रहा है कि कल सुबह उठ के मैं बना दिया. Give me some advantage कि नहीं सर, कुछ पढ़ाई किया होगा, कुछ पढ़ाया होगा. Okay, so come back. Next is this equator line. South America, bulk of it south में. Okay, so look at these two lines here. This is what's called as the Isthmus of Panama. There's a narrow stretch of land that links South America with North America. Isthmus of Panama. यहाँ पर you have got Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, Panama, Costa Rica. Small countries are here. They're also called as the Middle American countries, because North America, South America, बीच में है Middle America. Middle America. So a small cut here, Amazon. That's Brazil here. Brazil का tip ये वाला है. This is called as the Cape of Saurok, the Cape of Sunrock. When I teach oceanography to others, you know that there's some current coming here and it bifurcates because of this projection. Cape of Sunrock. You come down here. This is southern Brazil, Sao Paulo, Santos. This cut यहाँ पर कुछ river है called as La Plata River, a very big river of South America, apart from Amazon. Okay, and this is where we have Uruguay, Paraguay. Okay, you hear about them in football. Okay, important countries. Okay, they're famous for football. ये अर्जेंटीना यहाँ पर है. So South America, unlike Africa, देखो ऐसे flat हो रहा है यहाँ पर, like this. This is more pointed. Okay, so this and this is the coast of Peru, Chile. Okay, so Africa and South America में difference क्या है? Africa has a huge bulge here. यहाँ पर वैसा bulge इतना बड़ा नहीं. Okay, and in South America, okay, you have this. You come down here, so a smaller bulge. You come down here, then you have this and you have this. ये जो है ना almost 90 degree है. If you get these shapes right, your continent will look like you're drawing South America or South में आके small turn यहाँ पर. Let me try this for you, all of you. Okay, so you have this two small lines, which is the Isthmus of Panama. Okay, Panama. You come down here, a cut here like this. Okay, you have a smaller bulge here. You come down straight here like this. Okay, you come down. This is at 90 degrees here. Okay, come down and a small turn here. That's for South America. Compare and that's your equator like this. Africa comparison में it is like this. Otherwise, if you do not take care of this one, ये जो है ये वाला part, okay, they will look the same otherwise. And this bulge, this is a huge bulge, like a skull of a man. This is not as, in fact, you can even lessen this one. Okay, this and make it lesser. It will look more like South America. Take all of you. That's South America. You go to Africa. Back to your diagram. Now, North America, okay, you have the Isthmus of Panama. This is called as the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, adventurous Trump says Gulf of America. Take a fine, Gulf of America. Whatever helps his ego, fine. But tariff kama do bas. Okay, this is Florida here. Okay, go up north here. This is part of Canada. This large one is the Hudson Bay. Okay, so remember, in the Gulf of, in the Isthmus of Panama, there are two projections. ये दिख रहा है ये वाला ऐसे. There are two projections. The Yucatan Peninsula बोलते हैं, part of Mexico. You know, dinosaurs went extinct suddenly. Suddenly, as in 2-3 million years. Okay, and why they went extinct? One theory is because of impact of meteorite. Okay, but ऐसा नहीं कि impact हुआ and all dead. Okay, it's not that way. Impact हुआ, some volcanism happened, climate starts changing, and over 1 or 2 million years, slowly, gradually, the dinosaurs died, or they go extinct. And that 1-2 million years is enough for the life form to evolve also. So actually, dinosaurs live as birds today. The birds का evolution हुआ है from reptiles हुआ है. The impact of meteorite था जहाँ पर it hit the earth. वो कहाँ पे hit किया था? It was in the Yucatan Peninsula. The very big crater, underwater a crater is called as Kikshu, ऐसे कुछ नाम है, I forget the name, a crater. Okay, that crater is where the hit of meteorite happened. And from here, okay, the climate change starts. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So this is the Yucatan Peninsula. Okay, you hear about this eventually as a part of your geopolitics also. So lot of जैसे India messing with US messing with India, वैसे US also messing with Mexico. Okay, and the president there, the lady, she doesn't easily give in there. Okay, so Yucatan is part of very important geopolitics. Okay, if this part US controls, अभी US control mode में, right? This is Gulf of America. They control this part, Mexico. फिर तो ये पूरा area is their domain then. The area of the influence of US obvious बन जाएगा. Anyways, so that's this one. This Florida यहाँ पर है. This is the part of eastern US along the Atlantic coast. इसको बोलते हैं the Atlantic seaboard बोलते हैं. Okay, why? Because a very important part of US urbanization, US industries, the climate is better here. If you look at US, much of population in US इसी part में रहते हैं. This part is called as the Atlantic board. You have got New York, Philadelphia, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Washington DC, Baltimore, Providence, okay, Miami in Florida. ये पूरा arc is a very large urban agglomeration here. You go northwards, this is part of Canada. ये part of Canada is called as the Quebec. नाम सुना है Quebec? This is the Quebec part of the North America. Quebec part of Canada. Hudson Bay, among the largest bays of the world. Lot of frozen ice water यहाँ पर. This is the Canadian Arctic, north में, and this is Alaska. Alaska with a small tail here. Alaska, and this is the coast of Pacific along Canada and along the US. So यहाँ पर California है and the rest. ठीक है? So if I'm drawing this, see how I draw this. So this is the Panama Isthmus. I do two quick bulges here. This is the Gulf of Mexico. This is Florida. You go north here like this. Quebec. Further northwards, Hudson Bay. Okay, move here like this. Alaska like this with a small tail here. Come down like an arc. That's North America. So this projection here is called as the Baja Peninsula. You write as B-A-J-A. It's part of Mexico, not America. Okay. The Baja Peninsula, deserts hai sare. And US something like this here. Okay, border of Mexico and US here. Take all of you. Okay. Alaska, remember, it's like this with a small tail here. And this is what becomes islands called as Aleutian Islands. So when I am drawing the world map, I'll draw North America, South America together. Okay, so how do I draw? I always draw South America first. That's this bulge, small bulge, come down straight, turn here, this, bulge here, and then you do this. South America, North America. Africa bulge is entirely north of equator like this. Don't bring it down south pura. Come here, like cut here. Now you know the names more or less. One bulge, second bulge, Korea and the rest. Take all of you. Now I'll draw this at one go, 2 or 3 times, and then you will try drawing this. Okay? एक दो बार में हो जाएगा set. Then you go back to your room and practice. And when you're practicing, practice from the smaller maps of Atlas. Show me. एक तो ये मैप है, the big map. Okay, you can't handle this. Okay, so what you do is when you're practicing maps, practice from these type of small maps. Towards the end, you'll have maps of the world like this. दिख रहा है ये वाला? Climate map. You have got vegetation map. You have got industries map. You have got the temperature maps. Whatever. Any one of them will do. Okay. So you have a sense of equator here. Okay. Maybe I'll show this on this एक बार. Any atlas will do. Okay. हम atlas थोड़ी पढ़ा रहे हैं आपको. I'm showing you the shape here. I'm presuming हर atlas में world map का same shape होना चाहिए. अगर नहीं है तो फिर आपका स्पेशल मैप है. इतना कुछ चेंज हो रहा है तो वर्ल्ड मैप भी चेंज कर देते हैं. इफ योगी आदित्यनाथ डिसाइड्स. ओके सो यस कंट्रास्ट ठीक नहीं आ रहा. आई थिंक ये वाला बेटर रहेगा. ठीक है. ओके सो दैट्स योर इक्वेटर. Okay, that's equator here. This is the mouth of Amazon, I said. Okay, you come down, mouth of Amazon. This and this is almost like a right angle here. Okay, a small bulge, and ये वाला एकदम vertical straight आएगा नीचे. This is a very important part of, see, if you don't keep this, okay, then the shape will get distorted. इसको एकदम नीचे vertical ऐसे लेके आना. Okay, otherwise it will lose the proportion here. A small bulge, vertical down straight. Okay, this you slant down. Slant down. This is the Amazon mouth. You come down, then you do this, and a small belt here. Okay, that's your equator. Okay, so ये वाला important part है. This one, 90 degrees, and this coming down straight like this. Okay, this equator के ऊपर में the big bulge of Africa. Again, this also comes down straight. Okay, this cut inlet here, Egypt here, Nile Delta is here, Red Sea. This is your Horn of Africa. After Horn of Africa, you again come down. That's the यहाँ पर almost like a point है यहाँ पर. This is more flatter. Okay, you have rectangle of Arabia, India. Okay, this is the Malay Peninsula, Sumatra, Java, New Guinea Island, Australia. Vietnam is smaller bulge. The bigger bulge is China. ये काफी बड़ा है bulge. Korea. This you come here, Siberia, Kamchatka, and the rest. Okay, and either you have seen North America. Okay, this is the two bulges here. Okay, Gulf of Mexico, Florida, a small bend यहाँ पर, small एक projection यहाँ पर है. This is where you have it's called as Cape Canaveral बोलते हैं. Okay, this part here, and then you have further northwards Canada here, Hudson Bay. Okay, Alaska and the rest. So you know North America, you know South America, Africa. Now let me explain this part of the world once. जो Western Europe है. Okay, and the root cause of all problems of the world historically यही सब शुरू होता है. Okay, now they have become elevated or democratic. ठीक है? So how do you draw that part? So maybe I'll show that first here, then I draw this. यहाँ पर देखो, this is the cut of Africa. Just north of this, this one is I am enlarging. Yeah. So this is Italy. Italy है. This is Adriatic Sea. यहाँ पर Albania, Greece, and the rest. ये वाला part है. This part is Turkey. And this is Israel. Israel, Turkey, Greece, Albania, Croatia, and the rest. You must remember Italy. Italy. This is France, and this one is Spain and Portugal. Okay, it's called as the Iberian Peninsula. Okay, this is Spain, Portugal. यहाँ से ऐसे ऊपर जाएगा like this. This is called as the Jutland Peninsula, part of Denmark. Okay, ये वाला, ये ऐसे projection है ये वाला. Okay, this one. Then you come here. This is called as, okay, the Baltic Sea. Baltic Sea, the Gulf of Bothnia, Baltic Sea, and this arc here, ये जो projection है, this is Norway and Sweden. तो कैसे देखो projection, कैसा देखो? Baltic Sea like this. You come down here. Okay, this is Sweden. S for Sweden, S for South. याद रहेगा? N for North, N for Norway. Okay, so southern part is Sweden, the northern part is Norway. So you come down here, like a teeth यहाँ पर है, Jutland Peninsula and a teeth, and this is Norway. Norway के बाद में you have this projection here, ये वाला, is called as the Kola Peninsula. ये वाला, ये बहुत important area है Kola Peninsula, because this sea here is what's called as the Barents Sea. This is the oil gas fulcrum of Russia, Barents Sea. Okay, Barents Sea has the largest reserves of gas in the world. Okay, जैसे OPEC group of countries हैं, right? OPEC is about oil. Okay, वैसे Russia wants to make a kind of a group of gas producing countries. So this is Barents Sea, very, very important part. Okay, Barents Sea, and this is Kola Peninsula. This area has huge amount of gas reserves. Okay, Kola Peninsula. So if I'm drawing this part here, now check what I'll do. So we have Africa, the bulge of Africa, this cut here. Okay, you first draw this. This is Italy. Come here. This is Spain and Portugal. Go up here like this. This is Jutland Peninsula. You go further northwards. Okay. You come here. ऐसे. Is it okay? Okay. So this Jutland Peninsula here. This is the Baltic Sea here. Sweden, Norway, and this is the Kola Peninsula. इसके बाद में take it straight. The north of Siberia. So you're and this part, of course. This here, don't bother too much here on details here. ऐसे होगा somewhere like this. Okay, that takes care of. Oh, sorry. Somewhere like this. That takes care of Mediterranean Sea, Italy, and okay, the parts of Western Europe. So one quick draw again. Italy, Jutland Peninsula, Baltic Sea, Sweden, Norway, Kola Peninsula, then you go straight. Okay, and this part like this, Mediterranean Sea. Take all of you. So now let's put it together now. Okay, you first draw, and I recommend you draw the sequence I am drawing. And once you master this, then you can always start to modify what you are comfortable with. Chalo, we have Africa, India, one bulge, second bulge, this side, Greenland, Iceland, Britain, Madagascar, Kamchatka, Kuril, Japan Islands, Philippines and the rest. So it'll take you 1 or 2 rounds of practice, and one suggestion, in your notebook, this is your page. अगर आपका पेज है, margins, world map, don't draw more than this much. Any bigger than this, the errors will exaggerate. Smaller than this, आप कुछ दिखाई नहीं पाओगे details में. And in general, the rule is, try not making the whole world map, okay, as much as possible. आप वही बनाओ जो दिखाना चाहते हैं. आपको ये पार्ट दिखाना, ये बनाओ. आपको ये दिखाना, ये बनाओ. Your show South China Sea, फिर ये बनाओ. So don't make the whole world map. Just make the part you want to show. But this is a sense of the entire world map. ठीक है? Maybe try once or twice, then I'll move on. Antarctica जोड़ लेना है. मेरा गांव तो सर वहीं पर है. ठीक है? श्रीलंका, okay. You want? Hello, Sri Lanka. Andaman Nicobar Islands, Maldives here, Chagos Plateau here, Mauritius here, Seychelles here, Socotra Island here. Try once or twice, then we move on. And this is a work of not more than half an hour. अपने रूम में एटलस रखो, and you have the broad idea of the contours. 2-3 में बना लो, you are done. It's like learning cycling. You won't forget thereafter. मैंने क्या गलत बोला विवेक? The yogi ji is searching for you. मैं बोला we'll make the map according to what he thinks is right. I'm not challenging anything. वो जो बोले मैं वही बना दूंगा. Nihariga. Can it be completely in English? Absolutely. Anything not in English is not supposed to go down south. Okay. Or north of Vindhyas, I want to keep it. But all important things which is important for your course is in English. Don't worry. Okay? Yes. Go on. रट्टा मारो. और कोई तरीका नहीं है. हर जगह you cannot have a hack. Okay. Some facts you know. What's your name? How do I remember this? रट्टा मारो. दिल्ली का India's capital is Delhi. तो क्या लॉजिक है? रट्टा मारो. कैपिटल ऑफ बुर्किना फासो, ओगादोगो. कैसे याद रखें? बार बार देखो. Okay. ओगादोगो. तो हर चीज में टेक्निक नहीं यूज किया जाता है. ओके. ए फॉर एप्पल, बी फॉर बॉल, रट्टा मारे थे. रट्टा मारो. ओके. सो लॉट ऑफ मैप फैक्ट्स यू हैव टू रिमेंबर. ज्योग्राफी है तो इट बिकम्स इजी. वाई? बिकॉज आप बार बार सुनोगे. रिमेंबर दैट. कंट्रीज थ्रू विच equator passes, country through which tropic passes. Now the problem is you do this very mechanically without involving yourself. Map work you cannot do without drawing, sketching and seeing places. जैसे मैथमेटिक्स, हालांकि मेरे बच्चे घर में आजकल मैथमेटिक्स पढ़ते हैं, ओके, मैथमेटिक्स इज सॉल्विंग, राइट, उठाओ पेन लिखो. हाउ कैन यू रीड मैथमेटिक्स? वैसे यू कांट रीड एटलस. आई कैन गिव यू अ बंच ऑफ ज्योग्राफिकल फैक्ट्स इन अ नोटबुक, कुछ याद नहीं होगा आपको. आपको एटलस देखना पड़ेगा. एटलस से ही समझ में आएगा कि अच्छा ये नॉर्थ है, ये साउथ है. यू कांट रिमेंबर बाय हार्ट. Canada is north, Canada is north, Canada is north. US is south, US is south. और south is Mexico. ये नहीं कर सकते हैं. अब देखना पड़ेगा. Mexico is here, US is here, Canada is here. You do this 2-3 times, याद हो जाएगा. ठीक है? There's no other magic there. Yeah, I've seen lot of hacks and tricks YouTube में. जो बना रहे हैं उनके पास भी गजब का टाइम है. I tell you, I'm impressed. कितना टाइम है कि हर चीज का दे मेकिंग इन निमोनिक. और जो वीडियो देख रहा है, उसे सीख रहा है, वो तो अलग लेवल का इंसान होगा वो. Okay. So I do not know where all that goes. This morning I had a emotional meltdown on the Telegram. Some of you are there. You don't know the difference between a policy and a program. Okay. और आंसर लिखा जा रहा है कमेंट ऑन द पॉलिसीज. मन कर रहा है बोलने के लिए पैक अप एंड गो. ओके, 7 जन्म में नहीं होने वाला तुम्हारे क्वालिफाई. इट्स सच अ शेम. 2 साल पढ़ के बैठे हुए हो, पॉलिसी का मतलब पता नहीं है. व्हाट्स अ पॉलिसी? द क्वेश्चन इज पॉलिसी ऑफ इंडियाज मैन्युफैक्चरिंग. एक प्रॉपर ऑफिशियल डॉक्यूमेंट है यार पॉलिसी. गेस क्या मार रहे हो उसमें? गूगल सर्च, पीआईबी देख लो कि व्हाट्स इंडियाज इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी. ओके, तो इफ यू स्पेंड टाइम हैक जानने में, हाउ टू रिमेंबर इक्वेटर पास है, हाउ मेनी कंट्रीज, ये सब कब करोगे आप लोग? ओह यस, आई वाज एब्सेंट. कोई आसपास होता 2-3 तो ओके, जाने दो, मैं भी बच गया उसमें. ओके, कम बैक. ऑल डन? So I'm moving on now. The next topic I'm discussing is, let's get on. Do you know the world map? I'm discussing is population distribution. I will need the map on this. Population distribution. How is the world's population distributed? Okay, and why are they there? How can it change? Okay, so it's like a narrative here, and no questions asked directly on this. Indirectly, a lot of things we should know. For example, how will the distribution change when there is climate change? When there is sea level rise? How are the populations redistributing because of conflicts? The migration is one type of population redistribution. The people in one place because of migration, now they have got spread out. People in one place because of conflicts, they are moved out. So in previous questions, there have been no direct one on this one, but indirectly this is very important part of lot of discussions on the population. Okay, so some facts, 1, 2, 3, 4 likho. First point is, okay, the total population of the world is about 8.2 billion. 8.2 billion. Okay. Next point. The population, however, is not uniformly distributed. The population, however, is not uniformly distributed. Next, Asia has more than 60% of the world's population. Asia has more than 60% of the world's population. Okay. Whereas Africa presently has around 12-13%. Africa presently has around 12 to 13%, but will be the main population driver. Africa will be the main population driver of the future. Okay. Till around 2100. Till around 2100. Africa will increasingly have more population. उसी में Africa will increasingly have more population, including more younger population, children and adults. Next, Europe with around less than 10%, has shrinking population. While the Americas are the regions of slow growing population. Americas are the regions of slow growing population. ठीक है? So a quick idea हो रहा है आपको that Asia, world's population is not uniformly spread. Some places more people, some places less people. The largest chunk of population कहाँ पर है world का? Asia में. In fact, Asia has 4 big clusters of the world's population. बताएंगे बाद में. 4 big clusters. South Asia has a very big cluster. Similarly, East Asia, China, Japan, Korea. Southeast Asia has a very big cluster, and also parts of Middle East. Okay, and Asia will not grow fast, but Asia still has the bulk. Africa में currently the population is lesser compared to its size. One big reason is because Africa में the death rates are higher. They have got high birth rates, but they also have higher death rates. So it equalizes kind of. But as we progress, develop better health, more education, more food, Africa's population will start living longer. So I'm saying in the future, Africa will be the driver of the world's population. That's why we'll have more young. So India ke case mein, at around 2060 approximately, our population will peak. We'll peak at around maybe around 1.8 billion, and then we'll start shrinking thereafter. Okay, but Africa will grow till 2100 and beyond. As I said, population distribution mein, Asia has the bulk of the population. Africa is small currently, but it will have lot. Europe is now declining. Okay, because lesser children born. You have got old populations who are now dying. Europe has very restrictive migration policies. So Europe will see decline until they have some change in policy. And Americas have very smartly managed their population. They don't ban population migration. At the same time, बहुत selective है. They do allow people. Mexico, from India, parts of Europe, from Africa. People go to America and say, America's North America, South America, सब में बात कर रहे हैं. Okay. So Africa is the future driver, whereas America is growing slowly, and that's how the population gets distributed. Okay. Next slide down. Next one. There is a clear hemispherical contrast in population distribution. There is a clear hemispherical contrast in the population distribution. Almost 90% of the world's population is in the northern hemisphere. there is a hemispherical contrast. एक north south divide है. Okay, north south divide, and almost 90% of the world's population lives in the northern hemisphere. One big reason is northern hemisphere has more land, as simple as that. आपने पूरा world map देख लिया. Okay, the amount of land south में बहुत कम है. Antarctica, you don't live there. Australia is largely empty. Okay, South America, this part not much population. Bulk of population South America का along Brazil coast यहाँ पर है. So in southern hemisphere we don't have much land. No wonder more people live in the northern hemisphere. The main pockets of population जो हैं, okay, this is a big pocket here, a very big pocket here, a very big pocket here. Africa, okay, this part is a very large part. Nigeria यहाँ पर है, Sudan, Somalia, Ethiopia are large pockets here. So bulk of the population regions कहाँ पर है? In the northern hemisphere. So 90% of the world's population is in the northern hemisphere. Next point लिखो. Right, next. Most of the world's population lives within 150 to 200 kilometers from the coast. Lives within 150 to 200 kilometers from the coast. Okay, within 150 kilometers, it's approximately 45% of the world's population, and within 200 kilometers is approximately 60% of the world's population. The bulk of the world's population lives very near the coast. Okay, within 150 kilometers, 45% population, and within 200 kilometers, about 60% of the world's population. Okay, in fact, you can add here that 8 of the world's 10 largest cities, 8 of the world's 10 largest cities are coastal cities and ports. 8 of the 10 world's largest cities are coastal cities and ports. तो अगर आप cities देखें, you have got New York, you have got Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, you have Sao Paulo, you have got Tokyo, you have got Mexico City, we have Beijing. Okay, so इसमें देखेंगे आप Mexico City and Delhi, सिर्फ यही दो city हैं which are not on the coast. Mexico City is inside the heart of Mexico. There is a lake there. Around that lake, Mexico City है. Yeah, Shanghai, absolutely yes, Shanghai also on the coast, and Delhi is away from the coast. Otherwise, all the other big cities are at the coast and they are large ports. Okay, within bracket mention this one. Mexico City and Delhi are not on the coast. Mexico City and Delhi are not along the coast. Next slide down. Okay. Next slide down. About 55% of the world's population, about 55% of the world's population are urban population, means they live in urban areas. Their urban population, एक urban rural divide भी है, our urban population, and by 2050, the urban population of the world will be around 60%. By 2060, about 70%. By 2060, the urban population will be around 70%. 2050. By 2050, the urban population will be around 78%, about 70%. About 68 hai, round off that to 70%. Is it good or bad? That depends on what type of urban area. Okay, so urbanization is good if planned hai, amenities hai, housing nahi problem hai, conflicts nahi hai. So not all urbanization is good. Okay, but if the urban population is because of migrations from villages, migration from conflict areas, if urban population lacks, and think of Johannesburg. Johannesburg is one examples of very poor urbanization. All slums, ghettos, lack of amenities, lack of roads. As India maybe, every city has a very unplanned part. जहाँ पर crowding है, amenities नहीं है, conflicts होंगे, slums होंगे. That's bad. So 70% urban population, I hope you can imagine that most of them will not be planned cities. Most of them will be the consequence of people escaping poverty or escaping conflicts. Okay, they're trying to find livelihood for themselves because the other avenues of income is less in the villages. It's not a very happy thing to have. In fact, India is considered as one of the most India is considered as one of the world's most rapidly urbanizing country of the world. और ये अच्छी बात नहीं है. It only means that the urban areas are becoming magnets of migrants and the rural areas are losing their livelihood. And they'll create urban crowding, urban poverty, shortage of housing, urban floods, urban chaos and also conflicts. Urban areas में divides are even higher in terms of rich and poor. Okay, so abhi about 55% hai. Okay, by 2050, it becoming almost 70% is a scary thing to have. Within bracket write down that this trend in redistribution, is not desirable. This trend in redistribution is not desirable. Because rapid urbanization is largely associated with inequalities, infrastructure shortages, rise of slums, ghettos, and also rise in conflicts. Okay, so in urban population or in the urbanization-led redistribution, you'll have more economic and social problems. That's our discussion here. Okay? There are more social problems and there are more economic problems if there is urbanization-led redistribution of the world's population. Let's say down. 7 countries of the world. 7 countries of the world. They account for more than 50% of the world's population. 7 countries account for more than 50% of the world's population. That's India, that's China, Pakistan, Indonesia, Nigeria, Brazil, and the US. 7 countries have 50% of the world's population. Okay, India alone has about 17-18% of the world's population. China about 15% of the world's population. Okay, so हम दोनों ने बांट लिया 1/3. बाकी जो करना है करो, no problem. ठीक है? So it's highly skewed in terms of the distribution. 7 countries. Okay, पूरे Africa में Nigeria has the bulk of population. South America में the Brazil has the bulk of population. and 4 big pockets are in Asia: Indonesia, Pakistan, China, and India. Okay, 7 countries have 50%, more than 50% of the world's population. Okay, next slide down. Next slide down. The population distribution is uneven, and is clustered around 5 major pockets, and 4 major strings. 5 major pockets and 4 major strings. String का मतलब क्या है? There is a linear distribution of population. Okay, so the 5 major pockets क्या है? The 5 major pockets of the world's population. Okay, the largest is South Asia. Almost 25% of the world's population. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, 27% of the world's population is South Asia, the biggest cluster. The second big one is East Asia. East Asia is China, you have got Korea, we have Japan. It's almost 20% of the world's population. The next one is Southeast Asia. The next is Southeast Asia. Okay, Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia, and the rest. The fourth one is Western Europe. This has about 5 or 6% of the world's population. Western Europe. Okay, and then we have the Northeast US, the area called as the New England states. तो आप डिस्कस, हम अलग अलग वे में डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. Discuss in terms of hemispherical contrast, discuss in terms of continents, discuss in terms of which countries. Okay, this is in terms of clusters. Okay, South Asia, Southeast Asia, okay, East Asia, Western Europe, and Northeast US. इसमें East Asia लिख लो डाउन, इसी में ऐड करो. ओके, ईस्ट एशिया, दिस हैज स्टेबिलाइज्ड एंड इट इज रिड्यूसिंग. ओके, साउथ-ईस्ट एशिया also stabilized largely and reducing. Southeast Asia and East Asia stabilized almost. This has stabilized because यहाँ पर main driver was China, and once China has come down, okay, to about 1.3 odd billion, China घट ही रहा. This is stabilized and this is almost stabilized and decreasing. Okay, Western Europe is rapidly declining. Areas of depopulation. Western Europe is rapidly declining. Northeast US has stabilized and very slow growth. Very controlled. Stabilized and a very slow growth. Okay, they do have migrations, they do have urban clusters. South Asia, okay, this is still growing, but it is slowing. The rate of growth, okay, is still higher, but वो कम रहा है. So in these 5 clusters, this is the main driver. It's still growing, but growing at a slower pace. ठीक है? यहाँ पर, okay, countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, okay, these are the more growing countries. India is slowing down. India will decline or stabilize by around, debates हैं. Some say 2050, some say 60. Okay, and I can't decide because अगर मूड खराब हो गया, okay, you never know. Okay, जॉब आप चला गया, घर में बैठे हैं तो, okay, you know, भगवान भरोसे क्या होने वाला देखा जाएगा. Okay, so India is the country that decides not decide any plan. और इंडिया के अंदर में एक और स्टेट है कॉल्ड यूपी. ठीक है, वो अकेले काफी है टू टेक 4, 5, 10 स्टेट्स ऑफ इंडिया. ओके, यूपी's population is 200 million. It's Brazil. ओके, सो साउथ एशिया में क्या होने वाला है, इंडिया विल डिसाइड. इंडिया में क्या होने वाला है, यूपी डिसाइड्स. ठीक है, सो वी विल नॉट डिबेट दैट फर्दर. एंड पाकिस्तान बांग्लादेश अब उनके ध्यान में है ही नहीं. Okay, उनका एक नंबर कंट्रोल हो सकता है. They're thinking whatever gain Bangladesh had done, okay, now we'll start reversing also. They're upset about the fact that they are becoming lesser. Okay, so they'll work harder. Okay, employment generation. ठीक है, unemployment can increase in India. Oh yes, you realize the problem. I'm so glad, but that's the least of the problems right now. एक बॉम्ब पर आधा पाकिस्तान खत्म होता है. तनिष्क, हमको यही लगता है. ठीक है, वो लोग वही काउंट कर रहे हैं, एक बॉम्ब में इंडिया खत्म होता है. ओके, तो बैड डिबेट. ओके, चलो, फॉर नाउ इट इज पॉपुलेशन बॉम्ब. इट इज अ पैटर्न ऑफ द 5 clusters. एंड व्हाट आर द ribbons? Ribbons are the locations where population concentration is along certain linear stretch. Okay, so one ribbon is the Nile Valley. Nile Valley is one ribbon, linear, okay, concentration of population, Nile Valley. The second important ribbon is, okay, the US Atlantic seaboard. The US Atlantic seaboard along the east coast of US. It has bulk of the cities, population, and also industries. The third big ribbon is, okay, the Mekong Valley. The Mekong Valley. Mekong River is the biggest river of Southeast Asia. Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam. It originates from parts of China. It's a big concentration region. Okay, the delta of Mekong is one of the most dense deltas of the world. Mekong hai, and one not as dense but could be important is the Changjiang Valley. The Changjiang Valley. This is old name of the river was, okay, Yangtze-Kiang. Yangtze-Kiang. The new name is Changjiang. Changjiang. All of you, please go home today and watch those 10 minute का videos है. One video on water issues of China. Okay, एक और video है about China, क्या rivers and all of that. Okay. से बेटा गंगा का कहानी तो यहीं आ गया, right? It's a part of your South Asia largely. I'm not discussing Ganga separately. Okay, and Ganga actually is not a ribbon settlement. काफी broad है. Northern Plains is not like a ribbon. Ribbon is much narrower, within 50 kilometers. Okay, Ganga north south 400-500 kilometer हो जाएगा. So Ganga is not an example of a ribbon settlement. It's much more wider than that. ठीक है? These are the 4 main. And Changjiang Valley, it has this city of Jiangsu, Shanghai. It has Chongqing. It has Chengdu. It has Sichuan Basin. So know some names. Chengdu, 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 a very big city. Chengdu, Jiangsu, Jiangsu, Jiangsu. It's north of Shanghai. Jiangsu. Shanghai is at the mouth of Changjiang River. Chongqing is a very large agglomeration. Chongking. Chongqing. Sichuan, एक valley region है along the upper part of Changjiang, Sichuan. अच्छा, एक और भूल गया मैं, Wuhan. Again, a very big agglomeration and industrial region, Wuhan. it's actually a bit of a shock that you do not know these cities, because these are the drivers of the world economy and geopolitics. Okay, ये ignorance नहीं है. This is almost like a major crime if अगर नहीं पता आपको यहाँ पर कहाँ पर है. I mean, others ठीक है, we can forgive, but not as UPSC aspirants. You better know China in as much detail as possible. Okay, because this is what will decide. These are the areas, and these cities are not regular cities of the world. Each city is a huge economy in its own. Each city is like 10 New Yorks put together. Okay, so go back and check Wuhan agglomerations. In fact, ये जो triangle बनता है, Chongqing, Wuhan and Chengdu, some consider this as the largest urban agglomeration of the world. ये तीनों मिला के आसपास ही हैं तीनों. Okay, Sichuan Basin is like the valley region. Hong Kong इसका part नहीं है. Hong Kong is अलग से, वो island है further southeast of China. Okay, Taiwan वो अलग है. ठीक है, and Taiwan doesn't want to be known as Chinese city. Okay, okay, उसको अलग issue है. ठीक है, so please go back and spend time. You better know this. What are the cities of the world? and खासकर Chinese cities कौन-कौन से हैं? Okay, so those two maps will help you. The plus media videos हैं. Okay, it'll tell you what places are there. Okay, so if you look at the world population distribution, I've discussed in 4 or 5 different ways. Continent wise बता दिया आपको मैंने, hemisphere बताया, what the clusters बताया, what rivers are more important, I've discussed that, and how in the future things can change because of the population dynamics. So now what are the factors that decide the population distribution? What factors decide population distribution? Why we have so many of us in Asia? Why so many of us in India? Okay, while I understand that India has had a high growth rate, but uska big reason hona chahiye na. Why? Okay, so one big reason is that these locations are very old civilizations. but यहाँ पर लोग रहते आए हैं for 4,000 years. Australia got discovered and people began living in Australia as recent as 1800, 1700. We didn't know Australia was a continent for most of us. Okay, whereas India, China, Southeast Asia, your populations going back the early man. Okay, definitely will have more people, right? The same story of Africa also. Nigeria, Ethiopian highlands, okay, parts of Western Africa. These are centers of very old civilizations. Abyssinia is older than the Bible. It goes back to BCs. Okay, so reasons kya hai? It's not simply because they have got high birth rate. That's the consequence of some other things. Okay, so factors mein, so the core fact to start with is physical factor, which means these areas have rivers, the areas are tropical areas of warm conditions, they have got good soils, you have agriculture here. Okay, these areas are largely plains. Okay, flat plains are more easy to live compared to the mountain areas. Okay, so physical factors, and of course in time they also have other resources. Mineral resources bhi hai. Okay, we also have energy resources and so on. So physical factor is a very important factor in why these areas have more population. Yeah, you keep writing. Okay, मैं लिख रहा हूं, your pen must move. Okay, एक चीज याद रहे, in the class, समझ में आए नहीं आए, pen must keep on moving. Okay, because in the class you can't understand everything at one go. You require one more reading back in your room. And whatever I teach, I will ensure कि आपके notes में होना चाहिए. Okay, so I keep writing. What are the factors? One I said is physical factors. Physical factors are the natural factors. Factors, river locations. I said these are tropical warm areas. Okay, these areas have good soils. These areas have plains. These areas have resources. Okay, and the physical factors became the basis of historical factors. Okay, these locations were the centers of early settlements. They were centers of some of the early civilizations. यहीं से काफी कुछ population का spread शुरू हुआ है. Okay, the physical factors, rivers, tropical warm conditions, soils, plains, resources. Okay, these are good for living conditions. This supports historical factors where these are centers of very early settlements. In Asia, Asia we say has 60% of the world's population, and Asia is home to, okay, look at the old civilizations. Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is older than Harappa. Mesopotamia goes back to 6,000 years. Okay. Uske around, Sumerian civilization. Okay. We had the Assyrian civilization. We had the Phoenician civilizations all around the two rivers of Tigris and Euphrates. Your Harappan civilization. Harappan civilization ka extension was, okay, the Mesoganga civilization, which we call as the Vedic civilization, right? The Harappan civilization goes back to almost 3,000 years, 4,000 years. The Vedic one, okay, 1.5 thousand, 2,000 approximately. So, three civilization ho gaya yahin par. Then in China, you had two pockets. The Yunnan one, south mein, or north mein, you have the Huanghe civilization. Okay, Huanghe is one of the cradles of the world's cultures. Okay, so Asia has a history of more than 4,000 years. And Asia, bada region bhi hai. Okay, that's one reason why Asia has 60% of the world. So don't say Chinese now. Okay, Chinese, okay, is a generic word. So we have the Huanghe. So batate hain aap, right? There's a historical factor, okay, where they are centers of early settlements. They are centers of early civilizations. Okay, and take a list here. Okay, so in Asia, what are the centers of civilizations? We have Mesopotamia. We have Harappa, Mohenjo-daro. We have the Mesoganga. Mesoganga is Middle Ganga. Mesoganga civilization. This is the 1,500, 2,000 wala time hai ye wala. Harappa is almost 3,000. Mesopotamia is more than 6,000 years old. Ganga is, I said, 2,000 approximately. Okay, then we have Huanghe. Huanghe is northern part of China. Huanghe civilizations, Beijing, Tianjin, and the rest. Huanghe. Then we have the Yunnan civilization. This is southern China. The Yunnan civilization. Okay, so Asia ho gaya. Then we have Nile Valley civilization. In Africa. In Africa, we have Nile Valley, the most prolific one in terms of growth. We also have West African. The West African includes parts of Nigeria, Guinea, the western side of Africa, the West African civilization, and we also have the Ethiopian civilization. Ethiopian highlands. Okay, Ethiopian civilization. Okay, Africa. Then we have some important centers, just say across the world. We have the Mesoamerican civilization. Yeah, Mexico. Have you heard about Aztecs, Mayans, Olmecs? Yeah, Mexico and southern US ke part. The Mesoamerican civilization, Aztec, A-S-T-E-C, Aztec civilization. Okay, and they got wiped out as recent as 1300-1400 AD when the Europeans entered into Americas. Okay, Aztec, Mayans, M-A-Y-A-N. Mayans are also the pyramid builders. जैसे अफ्रीका में थे पिरामिड्स, वैसे Mayan civilizations, Mexico also had pyramids. Olmec, O-L-M-E-C, Olmecs. Okay. Then in South America, the most famous are the Incas. The Inca civilization. Incas, Machu Picchu, Peru, northern part of Peru. So, and all of them are linked to the physical factors. So, why some regions have more population is linked to the physical factors and the historical ones. We also call this as the historical inertia factors. Because वहाँ पर लोग रहते आए हैं, people have been living there, that's why they have more people there than elsewhere. Right? It's also called as the concept of population inertia. Okay, that's one factor. Achha. Linked to these two is also the economic factors. There are economic factors why people live there. Essentially, they are areas of resources, they are areas of livelihood, they are areas of development and prospects. Economic factors, areas of resources, areas of livelihood, and areas of development and prospects. This is best explained, okay, why people live in agricultural fertile regions, why people move into urban areas, okay, why resource rich regions. As in Germany, if you know, there is an area called as Ruhr Valley. Ruhr Valley has bulk of German population. Keep writing. Economic factors में linked to resources, okay, resource, agriculture resource, coal resources, livelihood as an income, employment, livelihood. The link to development and growth prospects, aspirations. All of us here in Delhi are essentially migrants, right? Why are you here? Because of aspirations, development. Okay, you come to RN, you try here, you live here, you have your families here, and your kid also attempts. So it's an economy that we have here. Okay, so development and prospects. Examples are the agriculture fertile regions. जितने भी areas हैं, they are agricultural belts, fertile belts. Mesopotamia, Nile Valley, Ganga, Indus Valley civilizations, Wange, the agriculture factors. एक urban areas. बताया आपको मैंने? Almost 55% of the world lives in urban areas. Why? Because urban areas have India maybe. Like urbanization is almost around 35%. Okay, 35% of India's population lives in urban areas. Okay, urban areas and examples. May I said, look at Ruhr Valley. Ruhr Valley is the German coal region. Ruhr valleys are German coal regions, Western Germany. If you know of cities like Wiesen, W-E-S-S-E-N, Wiesen. We have Cologne. Okay, these are industrial centers, Ruhr Valley. Okay, and वैसे ही, if you look at Britain, southern Britain because again coal fields. Southern Britain, which has coal fields, also has more population. These are resource-rich regions. ठीक है? Okay, so that's economic factors. Economic factors. Now, इसके साथ लिंक हो जाता है, okay, cultural factors also. So, physical factors, historical factors, economic factors, cultural factors. Now, when I say cultural, I essentially mean traditions, beliefs, the status of women, the level of education. Okay, how do you perceive children? Societies perceive children as beneficial, children as gift of God, children as future of our race, so वो concept है ना, lineage concept है कि मेरे बाद my child, okay, who carries my lineage, okay, so that's a cultural thing. So culture also decides, and culture में, okay, factors like what is the perception about family, what is the perception around childbirth. इंडिया में ना 3 प्रॉब्लम है. One is universal marriage. You don't marry, गड़बड़ है. System is not working properly. Okay. अब proof कैसे करो? Okay. या marriage कर लेते हैं. So universal marriage is one problem. अच्छा. Marriage के बाद भी proof चाहिए. Right? All things are perfect in place. So children are a compulsion. If no children, okay, then okay, हमारा वंश खत्म हो गया. और children में male ही child चाहिए. Okay, because male child runs the vansh. Okay, उसके ऊपर में women, okay, empowerment is an issue. So when decisions of how many children, boy or girl, spacing of children, when to marry, when these things are not part of women's rights, we call these as reproductive rights. Those societies will always have higher birth rates. It's a cultural thing. How do you perceive the role of woman? How do you perceive the role of children? What do you think about, okay, family size and marriage? India has all these things put together. इसके ऊपर में, okay, there are leadership issues that try to promote the idea of, okay, आप खतरे में हो, let's have more children. Okay, मैं मर जाऊंगा, मेरा बच्चा झंडा लेके घूमेगा. Okay, घुमाते रहो. Right? So these are cultural factors. The factors around perception of family, the perception of childbirth. It's about status of women. It's about status of women. Okay. Culture में, okay, we also include religious beliefs, traditional beliefs. So some cultures, by virtue of their belief systems, okay, they do promote the idea of, let's have, okay, no birth control, let's have more children. Or children are seen as, okay, blessings. हमारे आशीर्वाद ऐसे ही होते हैं, right? फलो फूलो. Okay, फलो फूलो is not flowers, okay? Okay. Yeah, so that type of आशीर्वाद means, okay, now married, go do your work. Okay. Yeah, correct. So these are all cultural factors, and built on this is the factor called as political factors. Political factors is increasingly becoming a decisive factor in population distribution. Is it okay, all of you? Let me explain this to you. Yahan tak theek, all of you get done? Okay. Now see, whether to migrate or not, where to make my house, where to take a job, and now also the size of family is no longer actually a choice for me. They're controlled by laws and policies. अगर पॉलिसी बोल रहा है only one child policy, it controls the size of population. If the policy says, so let's encourage growth of population. If the policy says, let's attack this region, you'll have out migrations now. If the policy is ignorant about, okay, rural poverty, okay, so you people will move towards urban areas, correct? So now if you look at whatever happens is partly the consequence of deliberate political decisions. A government बोल रहा है कि go and settle there, I'll give you incentives. Okay, so Brazil says that, right? Brazil says, okay, that we must encourage settlements in the Amazonia area. You go there, we'll give you settlement bonus, we'll give you incentives, go there. Think of Indonesia. Okay, they are shifting the capital from Jakarta towards Borneo. याद आ रहा है आपको? ये political decisions है, right? Ukraine की वजह से आपका redistribution now. People from Ukraine are moving towards Western Europe. So political factor and in fact migration, पूरा migration. Okay, who are migrants? US policy है, Europe का policy है. Conflicts we have in India. People moving into Maharashtra or not, Bangalore or not, UP, Bihar migration is a part of the issues of conflicts also now. So, political factors include, okay, laws, political decisions, it includes conflicts, okay, it includes deliberate policies which encourage or discourage. There are laws, there are political decisions, okay, खासकर political decisions and policies related to migration. Related to migrations. Okay. So these decide the distribution of population. जैसे कि you know, have you thought about this? More or less a consensus ban raha hai, or in fact it was part of UN mandate itself, that the solution of Palestine, Arab and Israel conflict is, let's have two states, one country for Palestinians and one country for the Israelis. This was the Oslo Accord of 1991-92 and subsequently also further endorsed by other sub-summits. ये हुआ क्यों नहीं? Why is the two-state policy not happening for West Asia? Why? And all of us know कि वही solution है. You cannot endorse the idea Israel को हटाओ वहां से. Like, Israel is there now. अब अच्छा लगे ना लगे वो country है. Okay, they cannot move, they will not move, and they should not move anymore. At the same time, you cannot say all Palestinians out and we don't care where you go. वो भी नहीं कर सकते. तो क्या solution होगा? Make a country called Palestine and let them live there. A country called Israel, let them live there. And it's very logical one. It's open and shut case. क्यों नहीं हो रहा? उसका reason क्या है? Reason is, okay, yeah, the very strong geographical reason here. The river called as River Jordan. River Jordan, river, water, agricultural fields. So when the Oslo Accord happened, okay, it was a choice. आपको क्या चाहिए बताओ? You want the coast, the ports, or you want the Jordan River? Israel opted for the coast. And this is what became the West Bank. When you say West Bank, west of what? Bank का मतलब क्या होता है? किनारा, right? West of what? Jordan River is the West Bank. This is the West Bank here. And this part here is your Gaza Strip. Okay. So Israel को ये मिला. Okay. They got these two parts, whatever reasons. Then Israel realizes, अरे coast तो मिल गया, पानी कहाँ से मिलेगा? Agriculture कहाँ से मिलेगा हमें? So then Israel, okay, says, slowly starts encouraging people, go and live here. I'll give you incentives. I'll give you loan. कि जाओ वहां रहो. Okay. And West Bank में they said, there's some part, West Bank को divide किया गया है A, B, C region. सुना ये वाला? The parts of West Bank which are entirely under Israel control, and those parts are the parts along River Jordan. So this policy where Israel is forcing people to live here and they're making settlements here. Okay, this is an example of policy-based redistribution. अब सोचो, okay, यहाँ पर लोग रह चुके हैं, 50 साल, 100 साल रह गए. You think ये कभी बनेगा state? So when they have state now, Israel will say, यार हमारे लोग यहाँ रहते हैं, तो ठीक है, बनाना है Palestine, तो ये बनेगा Palestine. Okay, and this is ours now. Is a deliberate policy of, okay, population settlements as a part of population distribution. This is what Pakistan did for POK. It encouraged people to go and live in POK. कि जब देखा जाएगा 50, 60, 100 साल के बाद में the more people of Pakistan origin living in POK. उस टाइम में अगर वोट होता भी है, okay, you lose it there. This is what China is doing for Tibet and Xinjiang province. Go and live there. Okay, so local populations will now get minority status. So Chinese government says the Han populations, वहीं रहो, हम आपको land देंगे free. We give you job subsidies. We give you free education. We give you land security. It will result in a redistribution of population. That's what America does for Alaska. That's what Russia does for Siberia. Okay, so this type of policies will result in people getting redistributed. Tomorrow, because of crowding, if the government of India passes a law or a rule, you go and live in backward regions, okay, of Rajasthan deserts. हम land भी देंगे, सब free देंगे. Many of us will move there, right? Okay, it's all about support systems there. So political decisions also implies, okay, the policies of population redistribution as a part of larger geopolitical, okay, tactics. Right now, political decisions include deliberate resettlement strategies. It includes deliberate resettlement strategies where okay, virgin lands can be colonized. Virgin lands can be colonized and occupied. Okay. Examples I said, okay, Israel population in West Bank, Israel population in West Bank, okay, Han population in Tibet and Xinjiang. Han are the people of China along the east coast. The Han populations in Tibet and Xinjiang. ये दो region are the troublesome areas of China. The Xinjiang province, ये पुराना नाम था Xinjiang, now renamed as XIN, Xinjiang. Tibet in China is called as Xizang. You pronounce it as Xizang, S-H-I-T-S, Xizang. Okay, so the Han populations are being encouraged to come and settle here. देखिए, तो लोग यहाँ के local populations कौन है? The Tibetans. यहाँ के local people कौन है? The Uyghurs. ये नाम सुना आपने Uyghurs? Okay, Uyghurs are Central Asian ethnicity. So the Hans start moving here. Okay, they now become the major populations. The part of, okay, the geopolitical issues. Okay, the Han in Xinjiang and Tibet region. Next, okay, the colonization of Amazonian forests. The colonization of Amazonian forests. Canadian policies to resettle populations in Northern province and Nunavut. Northern provinces and Nunavut. Nunavut is another state of China, of Canada. The Arctic regions हैं. Okay, यहाँ पर कोई रहता नहीं है, वहां जाके रहो. Okay, ये हर जगह है. कनाडा में है, Australian population says go and live in the outback of Australia. ये ऑस्ट्रेलिया ये है, bulk of Australia, almost 70% and more lives in this part. This part of Australia is called as the outback. Outback is dry, deserts, open land. यहाँ पर कोई नहीं रहता almost. So Australia says, go and settle here. Virgin lands, new lands, we support you, whatever. So, lot of distribution happens because of the political factors. Pritha, I won't go down that route right now discussing Israel kya hai. I just want examples from your current affair discussion, that's all. Okay? So, what is the pattern of distribution? What are the factors responsible for distribution? So, our conclusion here is that the population distribution, initially and majorly was first controlled by natural physical factors. The physical distribution initially and majorly, the distribution was controlled by natural physical factors. ठीक है, तो ये environment factors है, right? ये सब environment factors हैं, ये physical factors हैं. River, climate, plains है या नहीं है, ये physical factors हैं. Where we have the civilizations, ये physical factors हैं. Where we have resources. Initially, the bulk of population settlements was a consequence of natural factors and physical factors. So, we say यहाँ पर बोलते हैं that initially, the population distribution could have been explained by environmental determinism. Okay? The environment controls what we see as patterns of population distribution. The population distribution is can be explained by or was controlled by environmental determinism concepts. Okay, but we say increasingly and lately. अब क्या हो रहा है? Increasingly and lately, human factors of development, human factors of conflicts, human factors of deliberate policies. Okay, increasingly and lately, the human factors linked to development and poverty. म्हणजे गरीबी है वहां से निकलोगे लोग. Factors of development, poverty, factors of conflicts, and the factors related to deliberate policies are more important. The conclusion here is the population distribution is a interplay of physical and human factors. Okay, the population distribution is an interplay of physical and human factors. By the way, one thing I hope you realize, the notes are like answers. Okay, answer में भी ये factors को ऐसा ही लिखना. Don't make a list of 1, 2, 3, 4 factors. Okay, it will be very, very boring read. Pick up some factors for discussions. इसमें आप क्या लिखोगे? जैसे write in a paragraph क्या लिखोगे? Where there is a river, there is water, so population. Okay. When there are fertile soils, agriculture, so population. इसमें obvious है, right? अगर चल रहा है तो जिंदा है, सांस नहीं ले रहा है तो मर गया. क्या लिखना है? लिख दो ना 1, 2, 3, 4 point. That's it. So these points, I suggest don't write as paragraphs. डालो diagram में, you're done with it. Discussions लेके आओ where some concepts are involved. How increasingly the distribution is because of policies of resettlement. वहां लिखो पैराग्राफ एंड बढ़िया डायग्राम बना के दिखाओ okay how people are shifting because of conflicts from Ukraine. ठीक है? So the human factors में I said factors related to development poverty, conflicts and deliberate policies around resettlement. So deliberate policies में you can include here okay deliberate settlement policies and also the deliberate migration policies. The deliberate settlement policies and the deliberate migration policies. Is it okay, all of you? Acha, now go back to one point here. I forgot to mention it. In the discussion of culture है ना, culture वाली list में, these locations जहाँ पर we had the first civilizations. Okay, these locations are called as cultural hearth. They're called as locations of the first civilizations. The locations of cultural hearth, H-E-A-R-T-H. Locations of cultural hearth. Hearth का मतलब क्या है? Home. Hearth means fireplace. Okay, ancient times में, okay, your kitchen was the hearth. Fireplace, family मिलता है, खाना खाते हैं. Okay, they are cooking. Hearth means that is a home. Home in terms of where life and family lives. They're called as cultural hearth. Okay, यहीं से your world's development starts off. Okay, that's where all your beginnings of civilization happens. The locations of first civilizations and the locations of cultural hearth. लिख लो, जब किताब होगा देखा जाएगा. There is one map in your Majid Hussain. With in fact there are two of them. One is this is edition 5, so आगे पीछे एक आध होगा शायद. Page number 91. The new edition might have page number 93. Okay. और एक है page number 383. I'll show both of them to you. New old में please turn the pages and have a look कि in your book कहाँ पर है. Human Geography, Majid Hussain. Okay, it shows all those locations of civilizations. देखो, Kiko civilization, north is all Incas. यहाँ पर है Mesoamerican civilization, Olmec civilizations यहाँ पर है. Okay, you have Nile Valley civilization. You have this Mesopotamian civilization. ये वाला part है. Okay, Harappan civilization. This is the Changzang region. And Huange, sorry, ये Huange region है. It says here, यहाँ लिखा हुआ है. A bit more details here in your ये वाला part. Yeah. ठीक है? Some locations where we had the first civilizations. Edition 5 has page 91. Edition 6 will have page 93. Okay? Turn 1-2 pages there. वैसे ही एक और मैप है page 383 in my book. Okay, the same thing in a smaller scale. Okay, the hearths of urbanization लिखा है. Okay, so we have Peru, Mesoamerica, Nile Valley, Mesopotamia, Indus Valley, Huange Valley. So 4-5. तो यही मैप्स आपको बना के नोट में ऐड करना है. So back in your room, when you are summarizing or revising, add these maps to your notes. Is it okay, all of you? Okay. Write something more. give us a heading, a short write-up, okay? Measuring population distribution. Measuring population distribution. So I've discussed two things. One is what is the pattern of distribution, पढ़ा दिया आपको मैंने. Okay. Why people live where they do, pattern बताया. Second, I discussed the reasons why people live there. Third is how do we measure distribution. There are some indices, okay. Not asked, but just a quick summarization here. What are the measures? The most common measure is, okay, arithmetic density. ये सबसे common measure है, okay, which is essentially the total population divided by total area. It's called as the arithmetic density. Okay. The next one is called as the physiological density. The physiological density. Okay. Is also called as nutritional density. It's also called as nutritional density. This is the total population by total agricultural land. The physiological density, also called as nutritional density. बेटा बोर्ड में देख के मत लिखो. Okay, now you know why I'm saying that. Okay, तो जो भी एनर्जी है वो लिखने में लगाओ ना कि पढ़ने में. So I'm telling that to you. Physiological density or nutritional density, which is the population by total agricultural land. Okay, now add two lines यहाँ लिखो आया now. That physiological density is a good measure. Physiological density is a good measure for measuring the pressure on agricultural land. Measuring the pressure on agricultural land. Okay. This measure is a good measure for. This measure is a good measure for agriculture or farming based economies. It's a good measure for agriculture or farming based economies. Okay. Countries like Egypt, Japan, which have very less agricultural land, will have very high physiological densities. Implying the pressure on the land is very high. Whereas countries like India will have low physiological densities. Because of relatively more agricultural land. Okay, just one idea you should know. Right, next. For example, the arithmetic density. of India is around 380. Of India is around 380. And that of Japan is about 350. For Japan is about 350. 350, 350. Okay. Whereas the physiological density of India, is about 1000, while that of Japan is more than 3000. For Japan, it is more than 3000. It only means that Japan mein, okay, compared to the people that they have, the land is very less. India mein comparatively, we have got more land, okay, than what some of these countries have. Egypt mein na, 90% of the population of Egypt lives within 50 kilometers of River Nile. It's a very big country, Egypt. River Nile ke 50 kilometers ke andar hi, you have the 90% of the Egypt's population. Telling you, bulk of Egypt is all barren deserts. This is one way of knowing how the population is distributed. Right, next. In India, okay, the pattern of distribution reflects, number one, strong physical control. It reflects strong physical control. Most people live along river valleys and northern plains. Most population lives along river valleys, northern plains, and along the coast. Next, the sparse population areas of India. The sparse population areas of India are deserts and hill regions. Next, development as a factor also impacts India's population distribution. Development as a factor also impacts or influences distribution, with urban areas accounting for more than 35% of India's population. Urban areas में, okay, जो metropolitan areas हैं, which you call as the million plus cities, approximately 50 of them, okay, they account for the bulk of urban populations. In India, the metropolitan cities or the million plus cities, the 53 of them to be exact, they account for bulk of the urban population. Okay. Rural to urban migration. And development disparities. Are forcing population redistribution. Next, there is a control of cultural factors too. The northern plains and the Hindi speaking belt, the northern plains and the Hindi speaking belt with agrarian background, traditional mindsets, with agrarian background, traditional mindsets, lower levels of women empowerment, lower levels of women empowerment, account for more population, account for more population. The 5 Hindi belt states of India, the 5 Hindi belt states of India, West Bengal, Bihar, UP, MP, Rajasthan. Okay. They have relatively higher growth rates. They have relatively higher growth rates and also larger population size. And also larger population size compared to the more developed and industrialized states of the south, compared to more developed and the more industrialized states of the south. States of the south, the more developed and the more industrialized states of the south. Comparing Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, okay, these states have lesser population, a lower growth rates, higher level of education, a more industrial employment compared to the northern states. Okay, ask add karo that India as part of South Asia, India as part of South Asia traces its, India as part of South Asia traces its position as one of the major population clusters of the world, traces its position as one of the major cluster of population of the world because of its long history, and its dominant rural and agrarian population. Long history and its rural and agrarian population. ठीक है, इसमें कुछ समझना कुछ है नहीं, right? The concepts is what I taught you earlier. Okay, as I'm saying, paper 1, paper 2 एक साथ करा रहे हैं आपको. So I taught paper 1 to you, all the concepts done. You have a sense of pattern and applying. So ये जो factors हैं ना, physical, historical, economic, culture and political, ये भी आप directly apply कर सकते हो इंडिया में. Bulk of India's centers are those which have physical advantages. You can't rule out historical fact. Northern Plains has a longer history of population settlements in terms of agriculture history. Okay. Economic, urban areas dominate. Culture बता दिया आपको. Political aspects of conflicts and migrations. तो जहां पर lack of development, people are moving out eventually. ठीक है, all of you? या वो TFR को मैंने कह दिया. Okay, women issues and higher growth rates. I have not taught population growth yet. तभी इतना ही लिख दिया. See, this particular topic mein, you can keep adding content as I teach more of growth and migrations. Abhi wo padhaya nahi, right? So I'm not going deep into that. As I cover that, you can bring that concept into this also. Chalo. Today also you have your case study session, and I have told Ajay sir to take up case studies relevant to what we are teaching right now. So population का ही बताएंगे आपको largely, ठीक है? So you can take a break of 5-6 minutes. By 2:30 he starts. So it's weekly twice. Okay, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays we have case studies. Sit back for 15 more minutes and be done with it. Whose atlas was this? Thank you so much. Yeah, that's from my side. Okay. Tomorrow we continue. Yes.